Hi, everybody, and welcome to Read, Watch, Play. Thank you for joining us again. This is the show where we talk about what we read in comics, what we watched in superhero media and television and movies and all that good stuff, and what we played in our favorite tabletop board card games or miniatures. And tonight we have something very special for you. We are coming to you from about 40 minutes in the past. Woo!
It's 32 minutes in the past.
32 minutes in the past. Woo! We're pre-recording this because tonight we're having our The Mighty Thor HeroClix sealed release event here at Kerwin's Game Store right upstairs. And after we talk about comics, after we talk about superhero TV shows and movies, we're going to cut right to live gameplay. And this week, I'm Tony Cox.
And I'm Clifford Parmenter. And the power of Thor compels you to stay tuned and watch.
That is right. So let's jump right into comics. We're going to start right away with Generations The Archers. And I'm very excited about this because I'm a huge Matt Fraction fan from his run on Hawkeye, both with Kate and Clint. So tell us, Cliff, how was it?
So I've enjoyed all the Generations so far. And this one's not a disappointment. I don't know the storyline where this takes place. Like the other ones, like I kind of know. I don't know this one. This takes place at a time where Hawkeye is trapped on an island, and everyone on the island, they all have these belts. If you remove the belts, you die. It explodes.
They have little targets on the belts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really know that storyline, but Bullseye's there, and like everybody, for every freaking buddy who's like an assassin.
Taskmaster's there.
Yes. And Kate, of course, arrives.
Yep.
And I was like, where the heck am I? I'm just on some island.
Yep.
Right? I love the Taskmaster's there because it's so great. And so her and Clint are like arrow to arrow, arguing about their attire. Of course. You have too many pockets. What's with that mask? It's like, your hips are exposed. What kind of uniform is this? So, anyhow, they camp, they hang out. We got a lot of good banter. Lots of great villains attacking them. This one was much more friendly than the others, except this is younger Clint, so it's a lot of the things we don't like about him that are still there, but more so because it's the past version of Clint. And they survive all this stuff, and she helps him out, and they defeat all these enemies and figure everything out, and she's like gushing to him about how her life has changed so much since she decided to get involved in superheroics and what it's meant to her to have Clint as a friend and a mentor, and he is snoring as she is sharing all this. And she's like, no. Really, Clint? I should have expected nothing less. And then she fades away back to her own time, Wow.
So was it, do we know what's causing these things?
No idea. Okay. No, I'm just going to assume it's the Cosmic Cube, and that's it. But wait, because I read 2 Generations this week,
dun, dun, dun.
I have a theory that it could be much worse than the Cosmic Cube.
Much worse than the Cosmic Cube?
Yeah, but we'll get to that later.
Let's jump right into it now.
All right, we're going to jump right into it now. So Thor's Generations from last week, right? So this story takes place in Asgard. Again, I don't know the time frame. I assume very much in the past, because the Asgardians are going to battle Apocalypse in Egypt. So this is very serious.
Wow.
And you know how much Apocalypse appreciates himself as a god.
Right.
Oh, boy. So anyhow, they're back there. So halfway through the issue, the whole opening of the issue is the Asgardians talking about, going to battle, how to prepare, what they're going to encounter. And then, just then, when they engage with Apocalypse, boom, out of the future appears Jane Foster Thor. And, so of course...
How far into the book does she appear?
Literally midway. She's just lightning, and then Jane Foster's there. And of course, immediately, whole Thor wants to know is, why are you worthy to hold the hammer? Right? And she's like, excuse me?
Does he know that it's Jane?
No.
He doesn't know that.
He has no idea who this is. So, of course, they go into battle with Apocalypse, and, he decides to just no room or time to think about it, or just trust her. And as soon as things get serious with Apocalypse, the two of them are like, for Asgard! And then, very appropriate. I read this today with the HeroClix. So anyway, I just thought it was so great. I hope I pulled them both tonight. That would be the best ever. But yeah, it was just so great. They were like, man. It's like, oh, danger for Asgard. It's like, oh, you are Thor. Yeah. So they go charging in. And, Now, the conclusion to this one is particularly special because the conclusion to this one is the Phoenix talking to Odin. So is this happening because of their celestial godlike powers? Did they cause this? Or is it just a coincidence that they've encountered each other at this time? So, the Phoenix says something about, there's no other force in the universe like mine. And, Odin looks, to the fourth wall longingly like, I know. And then we cut to the final page, reminding us to tune into the next story issue in late September, where it's young Odin and another version of the Phoenix making out.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Teenage Odin in his prime?
Yeah. Black hair, making out with some version of another female entity. Phoenix.
Is this alluding to the Avengers 1 million BC?
Probably, right? Because right. Yeah, why not? So apparently there was a thing happening back then. Cool. And the Phoenix Force only enjoys inhabiting redheads if you're female, and then, whatever if you're a dude. Because there's only Quentin is a potential inheritor of the Phoenix, right? Mm-hmm. A Quentin Quire, I think. I don't know if he's ever officially been a member of the Phoenix. And then in the 30th century, there's a dude who was in Guardians of the Galaxy and Galactic Guardians who inherited the Phoenix Force.
Also,
and the
during
Phoenix
AVX,
5.
During
Phoenix
AVX,
5.
you had.
I don't really count them because that was
Namor,
just.
but then they all fell out of it except for Cyclops.
Yes.
So he was
Also the
Phoenix Cyclops.
So it's had a few males that it's inhabited. It's weird with the redheads going back more and more. Not that I have a problem with Jean.
Fiery Bird.
But anyhow, yeah. So both I like the Hawkeye one more. The camaraderie-ness. I didn't like that Jane didn't show up till midway. But I guess with the story they wanted to tell, that's just how it had to be. Because then if she'd shown up earlier, would they have even bothered with Apocalypse? Wouldn't they have been just too focused on who is this person, why is she here, and why does she have another copy of Mjolnir?
Right.
So, both good. Big woo on Hawkeye. Solid woo on Thor.
All right.
Especially with that shocking ending.
Sounds fun. How about Go Power Rangers?
Go Power Rangers.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I love them. Great issue 2. Shut up. And so, is that sunburn gone yet?
It's back.
Okay, good.
It's back now.
So, if you remember how we left off in part 1, Rita's like, hi, everybody. You must all be the Power Rangers. These are my friends. We're going to murder you. But instead, we cut to Kimberly's date. If you remember in issue 1, this guy was like trying to get Kimberly on a date. So they're having a super awkward date. And then he's like, I don't know, what could be more awkward than this? As she flashes back to the Power Rangers fighting Rita while she's holding Jason's limp body in front of them.
Wow.
So they escaped through Zordon teleportation.
Oh, okay.
Zordon just pulled them out of there. And Zordon, they're still new to him, so he is not free-flowing with information. And so and they're not training and all this stuff. And they're like, Zordon, what you don't tell us will get us killed. And he's like, the ways of the Power Rangers go back long before you were ever born, centuries. And they're like, yeah, okay, fine. But that's not how we're doing things now. You got to start talking to us. And Jason's acting up at school. He's really him and Bulk and Skull keep their tussle going. And Trini has some home problems, where she's constantly lying to her mother, especially with all the Power Ranger stuff going on. And then her and Jason end up at the Angel Grove beach. She's like, what, you want to fight? And then, of course, they transform into Power Rangers, and then they just start testing their super strength and their speed, and they can breathe underwater, and they're like, this is the greatest thing ever. And they're like, yeah, Billy's the biggest klutz we know, but as soon as he morphs, he's like a deadly weapon, So it was just so when they were done, he's like, do you think we should be training more? She goes, yes. She goes, and that means lying to my mother even more. So, she obviously has her issues. So back at the Zordon's base, mm-hmm. Billy's hiding in the dark doing something weird, right? And Zach is like, what is going on? He's like, I'm working on something, come look. And he's building the communicators for the Power Rangers. And he's like, this way we actually can like be in touch with each other and know what's going on, and we can be a better team because we can communicate. So that was pretty cool. And basically it ended with, like we've defeated, it ended on like we got some personal notes with the Power Rangers. We've defeated Rita for now, and Rita is with I forgot to do that, like molds the creatures for her, but he's like, oh, my next creature is like the perfect weapon, and it's like a super putty, and it's like this deadly creature woman who's gonna encounter them next. So that was our cliffhanger, but it was good. It was a solid woo. I'm not disappointed I picked up issue 2.
Cool, very cool. All right, Faith and the Future Force.
Oh my God, you already know how I love this book. So again, it continues with the Doctor Who jokes, where it's like, I hate Doctor Who Faith. And the thing is, right, like they can't remember what happened in all of their previous encounters. So the Time Walker just keeps going on about how she hates Doctor Who fans because there's just one Doctor Who joke after another.
Yep.
None of them knowing that it's happened before. So they're in ancient Greece, and the Renegades are now there with Faith, and Peter from the Renegades. It's a big deal that, he uses drugs to, like, keep himself in check with his semi-phenomenal cosmic power, and he can overhear the Time Walker, like, asking Faith, like, how she feels about this. And Faith is like, no, I believe him that he's clean. I trust him, even though she had massive issues trusting him in the Renegades miniseries. But Renegades, the series is out too, so do check it out. Anyhow, so they have their encounter. They are decimated once again. And now Time Walker's new note to herself is, Faith is not enough, and neither are the Renegades. So she goes back to Faith. They do the whole thing with, come with me, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And she's like, well, I can get the Renegades. And she's like, and who else can you get? And she's like, well, if I work really hard, we can reach out to a few people. So they get Exo-Man of War, Ninjak, they get Bloodsport, They get everyone. So Faith has like the entire Valiant universe on Earth, like sitting at a farm, and she's like, all right, everybody, we can do this. Let us show how strong we are to the Time Arc. And she's like, and Time Walker's like, yeah, the Time Arc is a mile down the road. She goes, all right, everybody, follow the Time Lord to the Time Arc. She's like, hi, I'm the Time Walker, not a Time Lord. I hate Doctor Who, people. And it's on a funny note. And she also tells her friend while they're in ancient Greece getting their butts handed to them, she's like, it's so amazing being here. She's like, when we get home, we have to watch Wonder Woman again. Which is available for digital download now, $14.99. Okay. So, yep. Faith
and it's coming back to theaters.
It's coming back to theaters.
Yeah,
Encore IMAX performances. So if you want to, really like see it in all its magnificence.
So I'm assuming another woo for this?
Yeah, of course.
Great. Awesome.
Woo! I'm going to give it a good one.
Let's jump into some DC.
Speaking of woos, oh my God. I love Steve Orlando so much. I love Justice League of America so much. All of you should read Justice League of America. I can't.
Wow, and you don't say that about everything.
And I know why I love it. Because he's just not afraid. There's like 7 storylines going on. And it's just happening. Yeah. It's just happening. They, the might, they don't know what the heck the might is. The might behind the mirror or whatever that is. They don't know. But it's just out there. Granting random wishes. It's just an open case for the Justice League of America. It's terrifying. And I love it. They're in the microverse looking for Ray Palmer, and what do they encounter? A bunch of disgruntled people who are like, the microverse is completely in shambles and no one will help us. Will you help us? Which is just like what they've encountered in the real world.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's not wrong with me. That's just like what they've encountered in their own world. And the person who met them, who has Ray Palmer's belt, is like, oh, I'm so-and-so, and I'm here to help you, and Ray Palmer was my friend. Now, we know the last transmission that Ryan got was that Ray said he was betrayed. Do you think I would trust the person wearing Ray's belt? No, but he goes along with it, and he's like, oh, I'm so devastated that he had another partner that he never told me about. And I'm like, pull yourself together, Ryan Choi. Pull yourself together. Come on. So anyhow, I love it. Great issue. So exciting. The Ray and Black Canary, of course, are like holding it down back at home, and they're like at a dive and eating dinner, and she's telling him how important it is for him to hang on to Xenos because Xenos is his only sense of normal, the only thing in his life not falling apart. And she goes, that's so important. And he goes, and what do you do, Dinah? Like, what's keeping you from falling apart? And she's like, I just take all of that tension and all that rage and I just channel it through my fist into someone's face who deserves it over and over again. So in walks Afterthought, who's the dude who disappeared on Killer Frost's last issue and pummels both of them in the middle of this dive, right? And then vanishes just like he did before. And he's like, this whole testing and training thing I'm doing is really paying off, and then vanishes.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, and then of course it ends with Ryan trying to figure out, back in the microverse, trying to figure out how to find Ray, and he's taking everything that the real dude who was working with Ray shows up, and it's like, that's the traitor, rah, 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 I just saved you.
Oh, so they out him as the traitor.
Oh,
right?
they outed him as the traitor.
That's really good, because at least if it's this sense of like you as the reader are like, you shouldn't trust that guy.
Yeah.
But the characters you're like, it's like at least they don't let that go on for a long period of time.
No. In fact, all it sets up is Ryan's like, I have to know what happened, and takes the information he knows, and he said, well, Dr. Palmer said that I'm 1 in a million, and he goes to shrink down even further into whatever is smaller than the microverse to go find Ray Palmer. So creepy, cool. Panic in the Microverse Part 2. I love it. I wish everyone was reading this book. It's definitely my favorite book. It's like this, every month I'm super happy reading this, and I'm pretty super happy reading Supergirl, which we're going to talk about next.
All right. So I'm assuming this is a woo.
Oh, it's the biggest woo kind of woo.
It's there.
Yeah.
All right. Supergirl, Attack of the New Fatal 5.
Notice that Supergirl angle number 1.
Oh yeah, annual number 1.
And it's a $4.99 book, but it's an annual, so I expect that kind of price point.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And we learned more about Indigo.
Okay.
So this version of Indigo does not say where she's from, but those three triangular dots on her head let me know that she's clearly from Brainiac's homeworld. Okay.
Yeah.
But she's like, I am the woman of tomorrow. I am the superhero you need. I am devoid of emotions, and that is my gift to you. So then we get the newest origin of Emerald Empress, where she grew up on the planet Orandu before the Emerald Eye found her. She grew up in poverty, and how, again, by the way, Steve Orlando just nails this in everything he's been writing lately. It is just like people like living in bad situations and just, you're ignored.
Yeah.
So Emerald Empress's saving grace is the freaking Emerald Eye, chose her.
Yeah.
Right? But how do we know that Eye isn't as evil and as manipulative as she is? So anyhow, something horrible happens to her race. She finds her dad, who's like the last surviving member of her race, and she forgives him for being a terrible person just because she's so happy that he's alive. Yeah. Right? And immediately the Eye shows her the future where Supergirl's, legacy has torn everything apart and leads to her father's death. So her ongoing battle with Supergirl and Supergirl's legacy, they don't ever get into that, and I assume Legion of Superheroes, is the reason her father dies. So she blames Supergirl and makes it her mission to come back to the past and take care of business. And of course, she targets Saturn Girl because Saturn Girl's from the future, and of course, we're expected to know, she's a Legion villain, and then whenever she found Saturn Girl, she was convinced to turn her attention to Supergirl. Then she reveals to us, as she's revealing it to Cameron Chase, the DEO agent, that she shared with the Fatal Five false visions of the future that blame Supergirl for all her problems. Right? So it's like, well, the Eye could have done the same thing to you because the Eye is evil and trying to manipulate you into doing horrible things. But that's the way I see it. Yeah. There's a lot of Eye references.
She did there.
But anyhow, Supergirl and Indigo fight Solomon Grundy, but Supergirl can't control her powers because she got zapped by that stupid ray by Cap Grant, because Cap Grant was manipulated into doing that to her from the last issue of Supergirl. So Supergirl goes to Dr. Veritas, who we now find out she's in a same-sex relationship with Cameron running the DEO, and I'm just like, there's so much happening here in all these pages. And she tells Supergirl, I'm going to do surgery on you to control all the extra power you have. So now Supergirl is super saturated strong. So if they continue to go with... So a lot of you ask, why does Supergirl constantly rank at a higher power rating than Superman? There's never an explanation for it. Every time it's been written, if she's currently more powerful than Superman, it's because her DNA has been altered and Dr. Veritas fixed it so it won't get to the worst and then she won't explode or die because of it. But she is currently storing more energy, so she's quite powerful at the moment. In other stories in the past where she was exhibiting more power, it was because she had kryptonite poisoning, so her body was trying to absorb more solar energy to compensate, and it made her more powerful, but she was also acting erratic. And that was a different storyline. Grundy is no longer in control here, so Indigo takes him out. Magog and Selena are off doing their own thing. Selena is manipulating and stealing information from Cat Grant. Cat finds one of her interns and they team up to break into the building, but Cat is still angry with Supergirl and still feels everything is a lie from Supergirl. Also because the Emerald Eye exposed to all of National City that Supergirl's father is the cyborg Superman and alive and was responsible for the cyborg Superman invasion that took place in Supergirl.
Whoa. So,
what an angle, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to say big freaking woo. I love it. It's just it's gritty. Even the freaking werewolf of Krypton is in here because Selena and Magog have to go to the moon and they fight him on the moon and he's trying to protect the moon.
Jeez.
This annual had everything. I hope people like Supergirl. I know a lot of people who just don't and not even because they didn't like the show or anything, just because, it's just like, she's just female Superman, so what's special about that? And she's written it is a well-written character. It's a well-written book. Again, I love it. I love Steve's writing. I've been very freaking happy. Apollo and Midnighter, the Midnighter solo series, Supergirl, Justice League of America. I'm very, very happy. Another
awesome.
Woo!
Well, that's a big conclusion to our What Did We Read section. So let's move into...
Did I actually get through all of it? Yes!
You did, yeah. So what did we watch? Well, we watched The Tick. Well, you watched The Tick. I watched some of The Tick.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's so many things I wanted in The Tick. So many, but I didn't hate it.
You didn't hate it.
Which is important.
You heard it here, folks. Did not hate it.
I had a great time watching it. I wanted more. I think there's only 6 episodes, or 7 if you include the pilot.
Oh, really? Because I've seen the pilot and I've seen either all of the second episode and some of the third, or most of the second episode. I can't remember where I stopped watching. But
did Arthur get knocked out a window?
Yes.
Oh wait. That was the first episode.
No, that's episode 2.
Episode 2, it starts with him falling, right? Yeah, it starts with... a lot of people getting knocked out of windows in this series.
Arthur has the suit.
Yes.
And he's trying to get rid of it. And he has not accepted that he is...
He's going to be a superhero.
Right. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the second. Not the pilot episode, but the first episode after the pilot.
Okay, well, I'm not going to ruin it for everybody. Arthur's convinced the Terror is still alive. The Terror is responsible for his father being dead.
The Terror,
yeah. The anniversary of all those heroes dying because the Terror killed them is coming up. Arthur has a very bad history of mental illness, and that's why Sister Dot is all over him because of it. And very quickly, is the Tick part of his imagination or not, is addressed. Dot can see the Tick. So
yes, I've gotten to that part.
Okay, which is very important because
yes.
he literally starts having a mental breakdown and is convinced all of this is in his head and that it is the worst of the worst. And I'm actually worried when he keeps telling everybody goodbye. I just need rest. I'm just going to my room. I'm actually scared what that really means.
This show does a very interesting dramedy.
Yeah, there's a lot of dark drama in there. But you know what's funny? So anyhow, when a few episodes in, I'm like, man, I really love this episode. So much is happening. Miss Lint is being so well developed. Arthur and the Tick are doing their thing. And I'm like, this is a good episode. This feels like a real episode. This is meaty. This is the last episode in the queue. I'm like, who knows how long I'll have to wait for more. Of course I was all excited.
The first episode where I was introduced to Miss Lint, I was like, wow, they're really taking the time. Like this is not as silly as I thought it was going to be, because they're really doing some interesting things here.
They do a lot of interesting things. Tony hasn't seen it. I know a lot of you are catching up. I'm just gonna wrap up with Woo for me. I like it. It will never be the cartoon series for me, and that's a little bit of an issue. But I feel it's really trying, and maybe it's just 6 episodes, or 7 episodes. I lost track. But the point is, maybe it's going to get there. Maybe we're going to see. I mean, I realize that maybe with CGI and everything, Chairface is a bit much. But, I want to see Deflator Mouse. I want to see Batman. Well, we get a clip of Sea Urchin, and he just looks more like a shamed Aquaman. And which is fine. Like, I'm totally cool. Like, please give us the Sea Urchin episode where they're in the sewers. It's like, he's amazing down here. He's awesome. Like, I love that one in the cartoon. The fact that Dot has been making side money, bandaging up villains, henchmen.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough. And of course, the fact that it's interesting that Dot wants nothing more than, Arthur to be normal, and we should stand the sidelines because this is not who we are. Yeah. Right? And yet
she's
she
almost the same thing on the other side.
Right, but no, she's also rejecting it too, because she's like, I am not bandaging up criminals. Like, this is insane. Yeah. And the more she tries to pull Arthur away, the more Arthur goes, this is the only thing that's ever made sense to me in my life. And again, like you said, it's this dark, dramatic counterpoint to everything, and it's also light. It's very it's crazy.
It's very complex and meaty, and I can certainly see where somebody who is not used to this amalgamation of tone and style, being a little turned off on it.
But look, we live in a world of Rick and Morty. Okay, talk about
some people do.
I don't
live in that world.
I mean, we live in a world where that exists and is very popular.
Right. I've never seen
it. And anyhow, it's very existential. Yeah. It's very dark, but very humorous, and it's layered and it's complex, and we have room for other things to be layered and complex. You know. I mean, one of the key elements of the storyline is Tick doesn't know who he is, where he came from, or why, and is confused when he's not around Arthur.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and again, another sub-story. Anyhow, I've said a lot, and, we've got much to do, but I like it. 2 thumbs up. Woo! From me. It's enjoyable. It's not the cartoon series. It's definitely not that Fox live-action one. So
Patrick Warburton.
I did love him, but that was the only thing to love. And American Made actually was there, and we got Batman instead of Deflator Mouse. But I mean, it's cool. But I really like this. Certainly after the pilot episode, they had a little more budget. Tick's uniform now is way better. Yeah. And
awesome.
Good.
Well, if you guys are interested in that at all, check it out. I know I will be finishing off the series hopefully this weekend.
Streaming on Amazon Prime.
That's true. So you do need Amazon Prime to see it. Yes. All right. So let's jump into what did we play.
Oh, the ROC happened this weekend.
Oh, that's right. We had an ROC Super Q.
Yes.
Right here.
And I'm so glad I'm so glad I was not lambasted all over the internet.
I had a nasty case of strep throat, so Cliff stepped in and ran the event for me. Thank you very much, sir. And
I cursed WizKids all day long. They took every... What do you call those? Not the rulings and...
Rulings.
They took every ruling and errata that applied to all these figures in Modern and just removed them because they thought, it's not important. Everyone's going to be focused on Thor. It's not like anyone's running any kind of event this weekend. So there was a lot of tough and ugly calls that I had to make using only what HC Realms could help me with. Wow. At one point, I had to make a call on green arrows, kryptonite arrows, based on a screenshot that someone posted on the realms of what used to be posted in the rules forum for WizKids. Wow. So I found myself apologizing. There was a lot of frustration and a lot of me feeling bad. What's his name can turn into a single base. No, what's his name produces a vehicle and becomes just jumps into the vehicle. The one from Superior Foes.
Oh, I don't know.
He's a black character. He's a Spider-Man villain, and like he makes like a bike or whatever, and gets in the bike and moves around the map.
I don't remember.
But anyhow, the point is, this kid asked me like, "Oh, can he be carried because he's a single base figure?" And I was like, "Oh, this should be a quick answer." All that stuff on vehicle's gone, all of it. So I was just like, and then finally, I'm like, I had to default to the new rules. And I'm like, okay, it's got the vehicle symbol. No. And then there was...
Which I think is the correct call under the old rules anyway.
Yes. But, I had never thought of it. I was like, oh, it's a single-base character. Does that mean anything? Then there was like, isn't the new wording for outwit the same way that Nick Fury is worded? So shouldn't I be able to cancel somebody's power before they get it? No, Nick Fury never worked that way before. He doesn't work that way now. And yes, their wording is different. And both offer unique benefits. I think outwit is much more dangerous than it used to be, but I think the amount of horror that Nick Fury can unleash is greater, What else was a really big deal? God, those boxing rings. I had the boxing ring rules all over, and that wasn't too much of an issue. How people are hit, when people are hit. I'm pulse waving, so that do I still get the -2 when I pulse wave through the ring? Yes, you still get the -2, pulse waving through the ring. Do I get this, this character grants this, and I moved here, and I'm in Pulse Wave. Is it still granted to me? Yes, because the character who granted it is outside of the Pulse Wave, so you're cool. It was a lot. But it was a good time, and that young man Ryan won, and it was cool, and he got the plaque and everything, and his mom was super excited. Cool. And, it was a good day, and like I said, it was really rough. I had 12 tabs open, just full of rules and questions and figures for me to look at, because I could just overhear what was going on, and then of course one of the rules is like try to be a passive judge. So I'm like standing up and I'm looking at what's going on, and then for the final round, for the final two, I actually sat with them and I just watched.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah. So, but I knew.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for covering me. I really appreciate it. So.
No, like I said, I think we had a good time. And then somebody's asking about, I want to know what the top 8 is. And I'm like, it was Mac. And I'm like, really, Mac? That's really funny. I'm like, because it really was just the top 8. Because I was the 9th player. And the next thing I know, I'm judging. So there you go.
So on that note, we got a special thing for you tonight. We're going to cut to our Mighty Thor HeroClix sealed event happening right now. We are still using the old rules because, in my opinion, the new rules don't go into effect until the week after the release. Gives everybody a chance to get the rule books physically into their hands, the PACs into their hands, learn the rules, get them ready for the next week. We, in fact, are going to start this weekend on Sunday doing our own new rules workshop where everybody just brings 300 points. We sit down, we play games, stop, make sure we have the rulings right and how everything works, and really go through that and pay close attention and detail to that. So,
and I, on the other hand, want to try whoever's in charge of the rules.
So on that note, thanks again for watching. Keep it right here, though. We're going to cut right to our live Thor sealed HeroClix event. And as always, I'm Tony Cox.
And I'm Clifford Parmenter.
And thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys next week.
Sorry.
What does it say for unequipped?
Give it to him.
Okay, so we will set Supper first.
Equip any.
Yeah, it says equipment. My life is today.
Because
I don't know what it means.
he's going to perplex up his attack by 1, he'll perplex up his own attack by 1, he can sidestep,
Flex up damage by 2.
and we'll do Pulse Wave, because why not?
Return fire.
So, not 3 dice. 12 on a 19 for 1. So why not try to do something?
Yeah!
I'm going to prob the hell out of that.
That can't be used enough.
Good enough.
It's still
Better
better than before.
Still makes me happy.
So that was his. He'll make an attack, range combat expert. He'll do
Okay.
Nope.
I can't.
12 on a 19. Nope. I rolled the same exact thing as
I
before.
could watch that game on the computer.
Oh, cool.
I'm about to do that.
Oh, we are up there.
Oh, hey, there you go. I should probably be a little farther back. Yeah, pass to you, man.
Let's roll for leadership. Ooh, I got it.
Superman leadership.
Yeah. That actually worked. I can't even believe it. What's his defense now?
His defense is so folks are both so it's a 17.
Okay, 9 and a 17. Blades. Hits. You'll make me reroll.
Not this one.
You're gonna make me roll the blades. 2.
Now you're gonna try to reroll that. 1 for pushing.
Oh, that's right. Oh, now I have support. Oh, that's cool. And defend. That's
I only
impressive.
just realized that that's a power combo.
Yep.
Like that I was wondering, like, wow, why does Jane Foster have both of them? It's like, oh, makes sense. Drops it down to a 15.
Running shot. Target both of them.
Both of them. Okay, so 16, 17. Prop it.
That is a 4 to my 12. It would give you all to Iron Man again.
So 12 on a 19?
So five, yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't want to play over you. Oh,
Oh, that's a little sad. Pass to you.
Okay. So
oh, if I'm flying, I can do it. I thought you could. But through a 20, of course, I just do it here, because I'm there.
I didn't realize she had running shot. My next charge was going to do more characters and then have you charge. I saw you there.
I didn't, well, I mean, all the times I played, I don't play with like 10 on a 17.
I'll sidestep her there. She'll use her perplex on his, I'll say, attack. And
Before it gets camouflage.
he'll perplex up his own attack to a 12 again.
I think that's all I do.
And I'll do another pulse wave. So a 12 and a 19 for 1.
Oh, I'm perfect.
Oh!
Almost. So that's 1 to both.
No! No! I don't like it. Oh, wait. Yeah, no. I got it. Well, no! No, wait. Hold on. I gotta look them up. What happens? Blah, 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 blah. Shape change. Nope. Super energy explosion. Oh, okay.
You guys are, that's it?
Yep, I got massacred.
Oh, is Master really good?
Oh, yeah.
And the theme is good.
Well, especially when you've got perplexity.
Although she flexes one.
Or herself, like too.
Or herself.
She's got running shot pen side.
I kind of like those because they allow you to like diversify. If no one has it on the other team, then you are free to play.
Phasing.
Phasing, and then she'll turn to her other. No, I cannot do that because that's the beginning of my turn. Pass you.
Clear my turn.
Okay.
That's you.
I think they made everyone. They made so many characters 3 damage.
It's a lot of 3 damage in this set. Strangely.
You're not using the options.
I was. He starts with it equipped. You never got to use it.
and then trying to get my scanner to work to get all the things up because I did not want to sit there and retype everything.
Yeah. I was wondering for all that stuff, it's like, oh yeah, it's a lot easier to just post that sheet. I mean, some people have like chicken scratch, but it's still.
I was gonna say if I had to read it and figure it out, I'm like,
Exactly.
y'all can figure this out. You know it's there. Everybody knows what Hakeem is. Everybody knows Supreme Intelligence. Everybody knows Nick Fury.
Alright, so we will sidestep here. We will use her perplex to perplex down your 19 to an 18. Yep, tell me now before.
Damn, I guess you can.
Alright.
I'm just not used to that happening in
Yeah.
the deities. I'm
So it's down to an 18. Pluto will perplex down to a 17, and I will push Warrior Soul.
adjacent opposing characters can't use willpower. Adjacent opposing characters modify their combat values by -1 if they have the Power Cosmic Team ability or have the deity keyword.
He does not.
Okay, just
So, and he doesn't have willpower, so he's just pushing.
Yeah.
Gonna do 10 on a 17.
18. Why am I down 2?
Both in the perplex.
He is a scumbag.
Has to. So 10 on a 17. Damn, that was gonna make it.
Nope.
No, and he has proc for himself, so that does not do anything. He pushes. And yeah, pass to you.
I'm gonna perplex up for defense.
Do I use the juicy power now? I mean, like I feel like maybe I should use the juicy power now. Maybe I should try to get rid of the warrior soul that's stuck there with him.
You throw something on him, but do this, he came up there. This could be a very good
Alright, 11 on 16.
Yep. And his attack is just energy explosion, right?
Yep. Hits.
Alright, so super senses. Nope. So he is 5, so that's
I was gonna say he's gotta be obliterated.
he's.
Alright.
And this guy is when a character 50 points or more. Okay.
She's an adjacent friendly character. That's too bad. Alright, pass to you.
Alright. Wait.
Yep.
Yeah, he was supposed to clear.
What do you mean?
Pluto was supposed to clear last turn.
But you. Why? You did something with him last turn.
Yeah, I perplexed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Damn, then I should have used my other power. Whatever. Whatever. I've killed your tiny men.
I will sidestep again. I'll perplex up his attack. He'll perplex up his own attack. We'll do this cha-cha over again. 12 on a 19. It's gotta hit once. Or wait, no, it did hit once, right?
It did hit once.
Okay, it's gotta hit twice.
No,
As
you
long
got
as
your
it's
one.
twice, I'm
You
okay.
got your one.
So on a 19, 12 on a 19, hits. For 1 on each. Nope, not gonna save. 50 points. I was supposed to have two of these guys. They would have been dead anyways, because I did a lot of pulse wave. Okay. So I was painting. He's like, oh, I can get her. No, she's 45. So yeah, she perplexed.
Well, can use Battle Fury is then optional if you have defense. Like when you look at Shriek, all of
That's
the
it.
characters
Pass
within
you.
range can use Battle Fury, non-optional. Because Battle Fury is not an optional power.
Sidestep. Target both of them.
Yep. So 17, 18. Okay, so we go ahead and perplex up his attack. Same thing from before, so +2 from both of them. 12 and a 19, pulse wave. That is a hit for 3.
Pretty sure that was right there. I'm pretty sure that was right.
Don't worry. You didn't need the extra.
Second attack and can roll.
Okay, so 20.
Okay, and then we roll.
Here we go. Big numbers. Big money. Big money. Big money. Big money. No whammies.
Sidestep and pass you.
Sidestep. Clear. Past you.
Sidestep. They will both perplex down your damage and clear. Pass you.
Sidestep 1. Power action. Send you to exile in Hades. Once per game, choose an opposing character of 200 points or less within range and line of fire. You may place that character into your starting area. If you do, it can't move or make an attack until your next turn.
Okay. That was your turn? Oh yeah, that is your turn. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Past you.
This character makes a close attack.
At the beginning of your turn, go like, which tile do I go to? Zeus is very angry now. He's being mean. I'm coming for you, Kamala. And I'm Greek and nasty, and you know what that means.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sidestep here. I'm going to perplex down your defense, and then her special damage power is outweighed perplex, that doesn't matter. Modify attack +1 for each action token on her target.
I just
So get
realized
+1.
if I were looking up, I could cheat because when you flip your cards,
Oh
the
yeah,
camera
'cause
can
it's
see,
like, oh hey.
and the camera can see my cards too.
Oh wow, that is really light. Yeah, because this is, wow, that is really light. Okay, so 12 on a 17. For Precision strike.
Like I said,
Hits for 1.
my TK.
Thank you.
No flight.
Aw.
Yeah.
So she took an action for that. And it's passed to you.
Pulse wave.
11 on 17.
That'll do 4.
4.
The fun.
Okay.
I would have 3
My turn?
Your turn.
Alright, so I will.
Well, I have a whole bunch of characters, so that isn't an issue. But I didn't have any way of getting those.
So now I can move the 10. So I'll move the 8. There. Might as well. Oh. So I have to do it at the beginning of my turn.
Yeah, find a click.
She'll click down to the same click number. She'll heal 1. That's something.
Although that is was an empowered leadership and if he's adjacent to a friendly character with the authority and keyword, he's got shape.
She'll try to break away sidestep. Because why not? Breaks away successfully.
Yeah, I think so.
Now
And
he
the
will
sword
move
that he
1,
starts
2,
with
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's as high as
So
I
it's
can
better
go.
on another character.
Billy and Johnny?
He scored 295, I scored
He will do, or she will do power action. Her special attack is giant reach 2, so she do close combat expert. I'm going to do.
So
Did I do 1-1?
it's just +1. It's better on somebody else. Like I was looking to see if I could
Do 1 and 1.
Okay, roll my shape change.
Yep.
Got it.
Got it. So she does not do that. She takes 1 for pushing, and it is past you.
And I cleared.
And she will switch over to the other one. She will heal 1. She will perplex up. It doesn't even matter at that point. And I'll just say I tried. I'll perplex up my own defense. Sidestep there. She clears, or she's going to clear. He is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flex up his own defense, 'cause why not? Oh well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Like, I don't want to be too close to him too soon.
Yeah, I would just cover it onto.
Move him here. I will perplex down your attack.
Especially since you can use
She'll perplex down her own, or perplex up, not down, up her own defense.
He's in my pulse wave range. So if I do pulse wave, all of that is pointless.
Yeah, but it's 2 targets.
Okay. No mystics for me. That makes me excited.
Yeah, true. Alright, pass you. She clears.
You said perplexed on my what?
So he perplexed down your attack, she perplexed up her own defense.
Right.
So why not?
Interesting.
Dice Master Player. Round 2. 45 minutes. Start. Good luck.
Running shot, single target pulse wave.
Okay.
Which is probably what you want. But I just
11 on 17.
Yep, I just like to watch Avengers die.
He's
Woo! He really likes to watch Avengers
And
die.
now I am going to remember to do this. He gets 2 Warrior Soul tokens adjacent.
Nice. He's that rat bastard.
So that was his. He had no actions, right?
Correct.
Okay. Alright, so my turn, I guess. I will.
If everyone else is done, I gotta really give some credit to Zeus over here. Come, little citizens. You're like, maybe they want to run away, Cliff. Maybe they want to run away.
Clear. Pass to you. Perplex down your attack, because why not?
Yeah. Running shot, pulse wave. 4 and 11 is sucks. Just sucks.
Alright. My buddy here, phase teleport. 1, 2, 3, 4. Behind you. He's just going to push, basically. 1, 2, 3. Well,
Push to die? Why would you do that?
Push to lose.
he goes there.
And dies.
He goes here, takes one unavoidable. He takes one unavoidable for pushing. Cool. He is going to do Pulse Wave, perplexing up his own attack first.
Oh, that's why. 6 is for pulse wave.
11 on a 17.
Are you
Hits
freaking
for
kidding
3.
me?
It was like such an idiot.
All right, and pass to you.
This is like an epic battle on the bridge.
Let's try this out. Blades, 10 on a 17.
There we go. That's what I need. That's what I need. Those
He will
rolls.
do Pulse Wave, perplexing up his own attack again.
I mean, unless there's a
11 on a 17.
called in, right?
Yeah!
Prob himself.
Yeah!
11 on a 17.
Oh,
Perplex up in
son
front.
of a horrible person.
3. Good game, man.
So, Cliff, why don't you tell everybody about some of the figures you pulled and then sign off for the night?
Okay. What am I going to talk about?
Talk about the group you pulled.
I mean, I pulled Groot, but like, I don't have his hammer, so like, it just, you know, it just doesn't make
You
it.
don't have his hammer. His hammer's right there.
No, you know what I mean. The hammer doesn't like come with it. You know, he has plasticity, which is nice, but then like, I guess the 19 defense would have been effective.
All his powers say I am Groot, which is very
Zero
accurate.
Yeah, zero range. Zero range bothered me. I thought about running Athena with her father. Whenever Athena's her attack power doesn't start until
That
click
is
3.
strange that he doesn't. Does he have giant reach? Oh, no,
Well,
he,
he's
does,
gi-
well, he
he's-
has because of giant.
He's giant size, yeah.
So I thought that would have given like giant reach 3 just because he is Groot and he could just.
So he was a nasty sculpt though.
But yeah, that is a nice sculpt.
I like the Hulk and Red Hulk being powered by rage.
Yeah, I think most.
Yeah, actually,
'cause
Red
her-
Hulk is a prime.
Red Leader is a prime.
I think Red Hulk is too. Look.
No, because
Uncommon.
yeah, he's just an uncommon.
Why did they make him a double? Well, probably they had too much text.
Yeah, because they have Red Leader is uncommon prime. Scourge is Red Leader is common. Scourge is uncommon. Odin the Destroyer is rare, and then Angel is super rare. And Angel is awesome. I just like the sculpt.
You were lovely. Look at you, Groot. Such a nice boy.
All right, I Pluto, man. Good.
Zeus.
Do you need points from us?
Yeah, when you sign up.
do you
He
mean,
got
say hi?
everything, but you know.
Say hi and bye.
Say hi.